I would say that the single most important factor in determining stock prices is the interest rate. And if we see interest rates climbing up, then with all, the interest rate is not the only factor. Obviously, there are a whole host of other factors that are confronting Pakistan right now. There are the aid flows, there are the, how do you manage your budget deficit, or how do you manage to address the more, humanitarian sort of response? Who's going to pay for all of this? Will the people of Pakistan pay for it? Government doesn't have sufficient resources. So we're in a very difficult situation. I think the positive thing out of all of this is that what the floods have shown is that by and large the civil society, the NGO sector, the government also have come out in a very big way to respond to this crisis. And I think when you have humanitarian crisis, that also changes behavior, and that changes accountability. And so where perhaps people have not been accountable and transparent and, having the strong governance standards that are required to pull this country to a level where, it can start moving forward, these kind of events could act as a catalyst for bringing about a greater level of governance and transparency.
And there is a regulatory issue also going on in the market as well, the margin trading, and there is a dispute as well between the chairman and the board of directors. Where do you see that going?
Chairman and the board of directors.
Yeah. Well, the brokers even had a meeting yesterday only, in which they were saying that the chairman of the board should be a broker and not a non-broker.
Yeah.
Where do you see all of this going, and will the margin trading, when will it be implemented?
Yeah. Look, I don't know what I don't want to comment on what the issue or dynamics of the situation, because that is a boardroom issue,
okay,
and I'm not privy to the dynamics of the boardroom issue. So having said that, I think the fact that there are disagreements at the board level and these things happen on all boards is a very healthy sign, because it means that there are people are taking an active role in terms of decision making, which is a good thing. Now the question and the issue is, what is the right thing to do? What are the ways? The responsibility of the board is to look after the interest of the Karachi Stock Exchange, and also to create a viable marketplace for trading securities. Today what we see is that given the economic situation that we have in front of us, volumes have come down very significantly, and both the stock exchange and the SECP are they are self-funding organizations, and essentially investors pay for them, because the transaction charges, the CDC charges, and the Laga, which is effectively an investor tax, the earnings from that are used to fund the expenses of the Karachi Stock Exchange, in part, not in all, but in part, to continue to provide those things. So I think it's important that both from a liquidity perspective, where investors want liquidity, they want a pricing mechanism that works. So when you go out to buy a stock, you can find it at a price. When you go out to sell a stock, you can sell it at a price. Right now in the market, you cannot do that. So that is proving to be very difficult for investors. So I think the second point is that any margin trading product that comes in will take time to evolve. I think that the good thing is that everybody on the board, I would say, is very cognizant of the risks of leverage, and that is true for the world at large. Financial markets have taken a big beating because the securities that they were selling were too risky. Now, margin trading is also an instrument which increases the risk, and I think the one side of the equation, which is saying that if you have margin trading, you will be putting in more risk into the market, and then therefore you will have this whole thing repeat itself, which we had last time, where you had market closure and then brokers were complaining that look, you have to shut down the market, and because they were leveraged and so on and so forth, and that you will have defaults and clients will not be able to pay and so on. So the question is, do we want to be in that position again? And if we do this margin trading, will it in fact lead us to be in that position again? I would argue that that may not be the case, because I think that people are a bit more cautious. I think they are more risk averse. I think that the infrastructure developments that the Karachi Stock Exchange and the SECP have done, and the brokers have done, frankly, as well, as stakeholders, are very significant. The introduction of the UIN number, unique identification number, which is an investor-specific code. It's like your NIC number. So if you buy or sell anything, whether it's on cash or margin, that can be now recorded by the stock exchange and monitored by the SECP. And there are risk controls that you can place at the investor level. I mean, that is a very, very strong difference as compared to what was happening before, where you didn't have these checks and balances. So an individual investor was able to buy securities, without paying any margin. And that situation is not happening right now, and that situation clearly is unacceptable. So I think the focus of the board ought to be to focus on the issue at hand and to move forward in a way that allows the broader issues of liquidity and price determination to be addressed. And if they can, I don't think that tomorrow, if the margin trading is allowed, suddenly you'll have volumes rocketing up and margin trading and everybody getting leveraged. I think it will happen slowly, because investors will also want to know how this product works. The banks will also want to know how the product works. The stock exchange will want to know how this thing works. The SECP will want to know. And so everybody will take time to establish, So maybe initially the product, if you recall, in the old day, when Badla was around, the Badla volumes would go up to like 20-25 billion rupees in the market. So the maybe initially right now, the Badla volumes values might go up to maybe 3, 4, 5 billion rupees, and then once you have that amount in circulation, you start to build up gradually.
Okay. Okay, and another thing I want to ask is that the foreign inflows has still been on the rise.
Yeah.
After all of this as well. So, well, the activity from the foreign side hasn't stopped. So, what do you see? Will that continue for the years coming forward? They say Pakistan's market will reach a point where it will be stagnant, and then the foreign investors won't find the market lucrative. Do you think that will happen sometime in the near future, or it's a long call?
Sorry, I didn't understand your question.
Like foreign investors, foreign inflows are coming in at quite a high level, and their interest is a lot. Do you think their interest will stay in the coming years? Or
Will foreign investors stay?
Yeah.
I think when the risk in a market increases, foreign investors typically tend to go away. That is in fact the time when investors can make the most amount of money. So what we've seen right now is that international portfolio flows have been quite interesting because we have seen, I think, almost 600 plus $1 million come in, net flows come in from the first of, during the current financial year. And if you, sorry, what am I saying? Not 600, around $80 million in the new financial year, July and August. And I think on a year to date, from the 1st of January, it's about $600 million. But about 80 million of that $680 million is July and August. And if you look at the split between July and August, 1st of August was really when the flood situation started to emerge, beginning of August. So July saw about 40 million inflow, net inflow, and August saw about 40 million net inflow. So it was relatively evenly spaced out. So that is kind of surprising because you would expect that with the flood situation and everything that Pakistan investors might feel we should be pulling out of Pakistan, but that has not been the case. So I think investors are a little bit more educated about the opportunities. I think it's a very small investor base which can potentially expand, but investors do want good liquidity in the market for them to be putting money in. And I think if you have the margin trading product come in, that will also be something where investors see, okay, there's strong volumes in Pakistan, so we can afford to put in more investments.
I think that's all it.
Theek hai ji?
Theek hai.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
So what will you be doing with this story?
Basically, we're gonna give a profile about you and what you see about the market and how you see the market going forward and which sectors. As you said, you gave a brief about each and every sector. So we'll basically tell about that and a bit about the margin trading, how you think it will affect the market, and basically it's going to be more genuine, not a controversy.
When will you be publishing this?
This will be most likely next weekdays.
Can you just send me an email?
Yeah, definitely. I'll send you a copy of the link.
Great. Thank you so much, Fasim. Nice meeting you. और ये जो ये आपका हो गया.
Okay, thanks.
Do you have your car?
Actually.